Alright, welcome to another part of my World Cup preview series. We've arrived at Group H. Now we'll talk a bit about Switzerland. That's in the group with Spain, Chile, and Honduras. Switzerland, they have become a rather solid team in the past years. They were there year 2008 as hosts, and World Cup 2006, they were there, got to the second round. They've been a decent team, but to be honest, more than decent is something they are not. They don't really have brilliant players, but they have decent players. They won their qualification group, but it was a ridiculously easy group. I mean, their toughest opponents were Latvia, Israel, and Greece. Now, Latvia and Israel never make it to the World Cup. They don't even get close. And Greece, well, they were the number one seed, mainly because, of course, they were European champions in 2004, so they're still rated as one of the top teams, but of course they're not, as anyone who have seen the game against South Korea will confirm. So Switzerland, they won the group, but they also lost to Luxembourg at home, 1-0, so that was quite a disaster. But, they're here again. Last time around, they played the opening game against France, and it was 0-0. France didn't play very well, and Switzerland mostly defended. That's what I expect they would do against Spain. Spain will dominate, and Switzerland will defend. But I'd be surprised if they can keep it at 0-0 in that game. But Switzerland lately, well, they haven't been doing that well in friendlies. They lost against Uruguay 3-1. They lost against Costa Rica 1-0, both at home. But their last game against Italy was a 1-1 draw, so that was a reasonable result. But in all fairness, within this group, it's probably going to be within Spain will win it, probably. Honduras will come in fourth. That's what you would expect. And then it's between Chile and Switzerland now. Seeing that Chile came in second in the qualification group, if they're in decent form, they should be able to grab second place. But Switzerland, being solid as they are, have a chance. Looking at their team, the main strength is in the midfield. They have Tranquilo Barnetta of Bayer Leverkusen. He's a good winger. Valon Barami, he's a guy with potential. Doesn't always translate into great games, but he has potential. He now plays for West Ham. He used to play for Lazio. And then they have Gökhan Inler, half Turkish player who plays for Udinese. Has been playing in the Serie A, Italian league, for a long time. He is a good passer of the ball, and he's a main guy at the center of the midfield, really. Then, at the back, they've got some solid defenders like Grichting and Lichtsteiner, and of course Philippe Senderos, formerly of Arsenal, now at Fulham. Yeah, he's a decent player, and they have a good goalkeeper, Diego Benaglio, who plays for Wolfsburg in Germany. He's a good guy, so that might help them at some point. But I see some problems up front. I've got Derdiok, is probably the best player up front. He plays for Bayer Leverkusen. He's still young, but so far he's scored 2 goals for the Swiss national team in 19 games. So he's averaging about 1 goal every 10 games. I don't think that quite strikes fear into the hearts and minds of defenders worldwide. He's a good player, but is he good enough to make the difference at a World Cup? The other players, Fry, of course, has been an important player for them for a long time. He now plays in Switzerland again. He's now 30. He's a guy who's a decent striker, but then again, he's injured a lot and he's getting a bit older. I'm not sure if he can really make an impact. And then there's Blaise Nkufa, who's been a consistent goal scorer in Holland for many years. But he's getting a bit older. Last year particularly was his weakest year, despite the fact that his team, FC Twente, actually won the championship for the first time. It was mostly because the rest of the team has gotten a lot better. He was actually one of the weaker players. But he did manage to, become champion, and now he's going off to the MLS, play for Seattle Sounders. But really, his best days are behind us, and there's a difference between scoring a goal in the Dutch league and making a difference, at the World Cup, at a world-class stage where you play the best teams. So in that sense, Switzerland don't have a bad team. They're capable of beating, mediocre and weak teams. They've shown that, and they're solid. But really, if you compare to other European teams, you would list them along the lines of above teams like Slovenia, Slovakia, and Greece. They're better than those teams. But they are a somewhat weaker team. So I'll tell you my final prediction video, what I think will next. You can check that out, what I think will actually happen. But I think Switzerland will have some problems clinching that second spot. But it certainly isn't impossible. Anyway, that's it for my analysis of Switzerland. Alright, thank you.